We can just say now, following our conversation with Chris Van Hollen, this will not happen in calendar year 2023. Should they just go home?
It seems like they are going to go home. I think the key problem here is that everyone is trying to put a different shade of lipstick on this pig. Democrats are worried that if they make too many concessions to Republicans' demands on border security, there's going to be some progressives on the Democratic Party and their wing, that side of the part of the party, that is not going to be able to stomach a yes vote. And there's a similar dynamic playing out on the Republican side. So pushing this out into next year means they're going to come up against a harsher deadline of Ukraine literally running out of bullets. And that's the kind of pressure that gets people voting in Congress.
Isn't that also the kind of pressure that is leverage the Republicans can use? Doesn't this help their cards more so than it does, say, the White House or the Democrats?
It helps Republicans, but I actually think the thing that helped them the most was the fact that even Democrats in the Senate are complaining that Joe Biden and the White House didn't engage soon enough on this issue. That's been their biggest gold card on this whole matter.
It does make you wonder if anything would have been different if the White House had leaned in earlier.
But Mayorkas is now over the weekend in all these calls, but, you know, is that enough?
Absolutely. And as we see this new letter obtained by Bloomberg, Nick, this was your team at work here at the Pentagon now, not Shalanda Young, but the Pentagon says we're out. We're out of money on December 30th after the last $1 billion investment here. This was a letter dated December 15. Its accounts will be empty on December 30. With that latest tranche, that latest billion that went to Ukraine, could that potentially bridge a funding lapse if, say, a deal did not emerge till January or February?
Well, the details on this are a little tricky, but essentially what they're saying is the $1 billion they're about to spend that's going to exhaust the accounts is money to buy new weapons to replace the weapons that went to Ukraine. In the sort of weird mirror world of the conversations that Republicans are having with Democrats, they may actually look at that letter and think it gives them a little breathing room, because the letter says we will then have enough to do one more tranche of aid to Ukraine. So sometime in January, they will send their final tranche of, you know, bullets, artillery shells, javelin missiles, things like that to Ukraine. So if you're a Republican, you know, the Biden administration wants them to look at that and say, like, hey, we are out. The coffers are empty. But on the other hand, the Republicans may look at that and say, hey, look, it says right here, we have a couple more weeks. So we actually can break for the holidays, come back when everybody's fresh on January 8th or whatever it is, and get this thing done, and then the money will go through.
So what's the real deadline? Somewhere between the middle of February?
Well, that's really going to depend on how quickly Ukraine spends its shells. I mean, it's coming fast, though, because they are expending ammunition at just an incredible rate, and they're going to need to get that, and then they're also going to need time to get new shells over there. But, you know, there are European allies as well. But, I mean, it's clear, obviously, the Biden administration, I mean, the clock is really ticking. You know, maybe mid-January at this point.
Of course, this supplemental request is, you mentioned, Annmarie, it's not just Ukraine, it's also Israel. But that debate has been less about the urgent need for money and arms, more about the way the Israeli military has been comporting itself. And the Secretary of Defense back in Tel Aviv today, Lloyd Austin, speaking to this end. Here he is.
That it is in the interest of both Israelis and Palestinians to move forward toward two states, living side by side in mutual security. Now, we know how hard that is, especially after October 7th. But ongoing instability and insecurity only play into the hands of Hamas.
Saleha, you mentioned potential members of the progressive left falling off of one end in this debate over border security. They could also fall off if they don't like what's happening in Israel and have been criticizing their president on a daily basis for this.
Absolutely. It's a shaky, shaky situation, which is why it's just not going to happen in the next 4 days. There's no use in them sticking around thinking we're going to get this passed before Christmas. It's a shame that it needs to go into the next calendar year and puts a lot of uncertainty into the geopolitical strength of the U.S. as a provider of weapons and a supporter of democracies around the world.
When it comes to what's going on in Israel, obviously a lot of focus this morning on the Red Sea. BP is now no longer going to be using it. They're going to have to go around Africa. And we just had an alert about 20 minutes ago or so. The Pentagon and its allies have agreed to create a naval task force to counter attacks on ships in the Red Sea. but the U.S. has 2 USS carriers there.
Well,
what difference will this make?
That's a great question, because they also have a task force in the Red Sea already that does a lot of patrolling to protect ships. I mean, the Red Sea has seen a lot of problems over the years. It used to be, Somali piracy was the big concern, and they set up a task force there to protect these ships. So, the big question looking ahead is, what are they going to do about the origin of these Houthi strikes? Are they going to take military action against Houthi assets inside Yemen, despite the potential escalatory risks?
Is that being discussed?
So, we know that's being discussed. Obviously, it's a big question because of the fears of a wider war. But, this is a show of symbolic force, I would say. They're getting several other countries on side, including Spain, the Netherlands, the UK. So there's a lot going on. It is substantive, but at the same time, it's like, well, not to borrow Saleha's lipstick on a pig metaphor, but they do already have a task force there. They will be bolstering it. But, if the Houthis are launching missiles and these other attacks, they're going to have to go to the source at some point to deal with that.
Yeah, a source has said to me that within the White House, there's a big debate amongst the Biden administration about potentially going after the Houthis because they don't want to be embroiled in another conflict in the Middle East.
Timing is incredible here. And when you consider the extent to which these attacks are based on ignorance, assuming or projecting that these vessels are somehow affiliated with Israeli investors, it has not turned out to be the case every time. Secretary Austin also extending the deployment of the Jerry Ford. Speaking of these strike groups, Annmarie, how significant is that, Nick?
It's a big deal that having 2 carrier strike groups in the region is a real show of force. But, it is a very tricky line for them to walk because on the one hand, they say they're putting those forces there essentially as a deterrent. But as we've seen, U.S. forces have also, in some cases, become targets themselves. So they risk producing the outcome that they want to avoid, which is by having more troops in the region, they sort of put them into potential conflict with the Houthis and other forces. So it's a dangerous tightrope they're trying to walk right now.